Good morning, everyone.
사랑하는 천일국의
Beloved
지도자
leaders of Chanilguk, blessed families, I'm very pleased to meet you.
네, 다들 건강한 모습으로 이렇게
Everyone looks
뵙게 돼서
very
너무너무
healthy and happy,
반갑고
and I'm
참으로
very pleased to meet you. And I wish to say that I really miss all of you.
어제부터요.
And since yesterday,
계속해서 어머님께서
Mother has been really sharing a lot of
신년 특별
messages about Cheongsong. And this morning, Mother has been offering a lot of Cheongsong for this special worship service. And Mother looks so beautiful this morning. And even though we may not be in the same physical location, Mother is watching today's worship service live. And in order to open today's event with a great Cheongsong, in particular, True Mother, the substantial living Holy Spirit, let us first offer a warm round of applause to our beloved True Mother to thank her for the many blessings and the grace that she has given us.
그리고 무엇보다
And more than anything else, in this year of the white cow, right now the COVID-19 pandemic is really still very strong around the world. However, all the blessed families and also all of the leaders, may Heavenly Parent and True Parents' love and blessings be with you all. And also for the past 7 years, we really attended Mother and we've been victorious. And really in 2020 we all celebrated everything. Let us give another round of applause for the victorious conclusion of the 2020 Providence.
정말 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you very much for your incredible investment. And looking back on the past year,
제명이 평화의 어머니신데 기적의 어머니가 아니었나.
I really feel that Mother was the mother of miracles. And I want to speak about the 3 miracles. For example, last year on December 28, 2019, in 2017 in July, Mother restructured the entire world. And there are many nations, and one nation was blacklisted by the Supreme Court. It was classified as a sect, and all of our assets were confiscated, and our members were really engaged in mission work in the underground. However, miracles are incredible because if we unite as one with Mother, we can feel that God is a living God. There was a revolution in this country, but not a military revolution. It is not a coup d'etat. But this revolution was really led by democracy-loving citizens. And this revolution was amazing because someone who came to Cheonjeonggung a few years ago became the director of the prosecutor's office. And on December 28, we had a bilateral meeting online and for over an hour. What's important is that there will be elections in January, and to have a peaceful handover of the government, they wanted to really build a new nation centering on True Mother's vision of peace. And our movement can really move the world. At the time when there's the corona pandemic, our movement is giving hope around the world. And until now, when we look at all of the persecution and all of the challenges, we really conveyed the challenges that our movement faced in that nation. And this new government representative said that we will open our gates to the unification movement and we will rebuild this nation. And as soon as we finished our meeting, they instructed the KGB and they completely overturned all of the Supreme Court rulings, and they say they want to walk and march together with the True Mother. So let us give another warm round of applause to our beloved True Mother for this incredible miracle in Central Asia.
제가 이 말씀을
And
드리는
the reason why I'm sharing this with you is what is a miracle? To us, it may seem as if it is a miracle, but to Heavenly Parent and true parents, this is a blessing. And when looking back on 2020, looking back on the 7-year course, True Mother mentioned that from this year, we are beginning the second 7-year course. But as soon as last year we finished the February event, she proclaimed the launch of the 2027 Providence. In other words, this is really the time when we finish the first 7-year course, and this is when we start the second 7-year course. But last year she proclaimed it, and as soon as she proclaimed it, there was a COVID-19 pandemic. And looking back, this is 1 year. What is Corona was a great crisis, but our unification movement, centering on True Mother, our Chanelgok movement, really experienced miracles among miracles. The first miracle was the firm establishment of Chanelgok in the 7 nations, in the 7 religious denominations. And on January 13, 2013, True Mother proclaimed the cosmic nation of peace and unity. And this was at the level of the heavenly nation and heavenly continent. And the second miracle was the firm establishment of Chanelgok, because Chanelgok is the nation of Heavenly Parent. And Heavenly Parent firmly came and settled on the earth. And that is why on May 8th, True Mother proclaimed Heavenly Parent's holy community, and Mother gave us heaven's treasures, Chonbo families. Therefore, every family that completes their mission as a heavenly tribal messiahs will be blessed as Chonbo families. And on the 10th anniversary of the October 14 blessing, we had the Chonbo registration festival. And the third miracle is that at the time, because of COVID-19, when nations, families, and even individuals are separated, when there was a lockdown and there was great despair around the world, we brought hope. And there was even a billionaire in America who took his life, allegedly took his life because of the misery brought about by COVID-19. But at this time, Mother brought hope for the world. And you all remember 2020? This was an incredible event. This was really a miracle among miracles. It was an incredible festival. And this was a time when COVID-19 was becoming very serious. And we were celebrating, and on January 30th, we were celebrating True Parents' holy anniversary, birthday anniversary, and I received the news that His Excellency Macky Sall could not come to receive the Sonak Peace Prize. And after the luncheon, this was a day of celebration. I wanted to, because it's a day of celebration, I didn't report to Mother immediately, but after the luncheon to celebration, because if we canceled the World Summit 2020, there was so much budget at stake, from the cars to the hotels to the airfare. So I went to speak to Mother. I said, Mother, because of COVID-19, which is becoming more serious, what should we do? Mother did not think twice, and she said, do it. This is the day that the Lord has prepared. And 1,000 of the youth from YSP toured Kintex 2020 times, and all of the youth leaders united as one. And we offered the 2020 events, but we did not have a single COVID-19 patient. If we had one single person affected or infected by COVID-19, we would have become super infectors. We would have been responsible for the infection of delegates from 171 nations. Wasn't this a miracle? Looking back, I really feel that Mother's incredible grace protected us throughout 2020. And when we look at 2020, really the number of COVID-19 patients continues to rise. But at this time, we really developed this new digital platform. Mother spoke about the era when we will communicate instantly 10 years ago. And this year, finally, through the rallies of hope, we were able to touch directly and indirectly about 1/3 of the world because we're talking about close to 2 billion people we have to touch. But through Peace Link, we were able to touch, during the first Rally of Hope, we touched 190 million people. And we also connected not just with Peace Link, but also national broadcasters. And during the second Rally of Hope, we touched 250 million people. And during the third Rally of Hope, we touched 310 million people. And what is really surprising, in Channel 4, a national broadcaster in the Philippines, the third Rally of Hope was broadcast live. And of course, there were reruns, but this was broadcast live. So we had 3 rallies of hope. And through these 3 rallies of hope, we were able to touch close to 600 million people directly and indirectly. Mother's message of hope touched the world. Isn't this a great miracle? Let us give another warm round of applause to our beloved True Mother.
저는 정말 어머니께서 사생결단
I really believe that Mother invested herself completely. She really put her life on the line at a time when her lips were swollen, her legs were swollen, she couldn't sit. Even now, Mother's health is not optimal, but for the sake of her beloved children, for the sake of Heavenly Parents' children, Mother has been walking this path of sacrifice, of investment. I believe that Heavenly Parent and True Father in the spirit world are completely supporting and united as one. And the True Mother really has invested herself even more. And through her investment, we could see that UCI really was able to bring good news in this lawsuit. For the past 10 years, we've been engaged in a lawsuit with UCI, and we finally received positive news. We have hope because Mother is with us. What greater hope can we find? That is why, centering on the 3 major miracles of 2020, I believe that new wine must be poured in new wineskins. I would like to share with you Mother's strategies until 2027. Of course, my lips may not convey Mother's strategies properly, but I will try my best to convey Mother's heart and her strategies. First, I would like to read one biblical verse, and it is in the Bible, in the Gospel of Luke, and it says that new wine must be poured into new wineskins, that new wine should not be poured in old wineskins, because the old wineskins will burst. That is why new wine must be poured in new wineskins. And there are no people who pour old wine into new wineskins and new wine into old wineskins. I would like to read one more passage from Mother of Peace. It is, I stand at a fork in the road when we can no longer delay the providence. And now a new era has come upon us and we need to change into new clothes. The time has come when, as citizens of Cheonilguk, we must become filial sons and daughters, patriots and central figures in the providence. And on August 2018, during the World Summit in Latin America, I mentioned that Christianity is an unfertile egg, and an unfertile egg cannot give birth to new life. And there was a cardinal from the Catholic Church, and there were various Christian leaders, and I told them that Christianity was unfertile and that now the time has come when they need to accept the blessing to be able to multiply heaven's lineage. They all agreed, and I mentioned that all of 7.9 billion people around the world must become heavenly parents, citizens. I am the only begotten daughter and the mother of the universe. And as you see, these are passages that we are very familiar, and also during the Rally of Hope for WCLC, Mother spoke about new wine being poured into new wineskins. And I believe you all know this content, but the new wine symbolizes the new truth, the new word. And in the time in Palestine, they would really save the wine into wineskins made of lamb's leather, and because the leather was very soft, the wine would ferment, and if you would use old wineskins, the wine also would rot, and also the wineskins would burst. And when Jesus came on this earth, he really could see that the Mosaic law at the time was not really the new truth, the new word that God had sent him to share. And that is why Jesus spoke about a new truth, a new word from heaven must be given. And if you look at the Bible, it says that even if you have good seeds, the seeds must not fall by the roadside or on unfertile, barren land. If you sow seeds onto fertile land, you will have 100 or a 200-fold harvest. In other words, if we have a new word, a new truth, and yet unless we are able to sow it onto fertile land, we cannot really bring the harvest that we look forward to. That is why new wine must be poured into new wineskins. And I believe I was moved by the passage in the Gospel of Luke, that there is no one who pours old wine into new wineskins or new wine into old wineskins. This will yield the wine that nobody wants to drink. Even at the time of Jesus, there were Pharisees and there were many people who were completely set in the old ways of the Mosaic law, and they could not open their hearts to understand and accept the new word and the new truth. And I believe that these words are very similar to Mother's words, and I understand once again why Mother is exhorting us to wear new clothes and have a new mindset. And for the first time in 13 years, in 2018, Mother went to Latin America. And when Mother closes her eyes, she remembers the names of each village, each river in Latin America, because they spent so much time there to offer Cheongsong. And when Mother went back to Latin America, this was a time when there were many difficulties because of UCI. There are hundreds of lawsuits in Latin America related to UCI. However, Mother mentioned that we need to march forward with hope, and she made a firm resolve and went, and they held the summit, and Cardinal Calvin Felix from the Catholic Church came, and they held a summit together, and this was during a luncheon. And when Mother sits, Mrs. Wonju McDavid would sit next to Mother if there is not something that Mother needs to support. But Mother was eating, having lunch, and we were also having lunch. But then suddenly, Mother's table became very, very lively, and we wonder, what are they talking about? So Mrs. McDavid and I, we turned around and we saw Mother speak to Cardinal Calvin Felix. She was not having lunch, but she was speaking to Cardinal Felix. And we were curious, what is Mother saying? Mother said that the Catholic Church is an unfertile egg. You know what unfertile eggs, right? Wave your hands if you understand. You know what unfertile eggs, isn't it? These are eggs that do not give life, that cannot give, where a chick cannot be born. So Mother said the Catholic Church is an unfertile egg to a cardinal. And Cardinal Felix is one of the closest cardinals to His Eminence Pope Francesco. And Mother really spoke about the Iguazu Falls. It's a great waterfall, but all of the rivers gather together to form the great Iguazu Falls. And the Mother said that now the mission of the Catholic Church is not to continue in its ways, but to unite with True Mother, accept the blessing and support True Mother's word. That's what Mother told Cardinal Felix. And I also remember when Mother met President Macky Sall, I thought that Mother would say, thank you for welcoming us. But no, Mother sat and she spoke for 40 minutes about the entire history of the Providence, from Heavenly Parent all the way until the advent of True Parents. And after hearing Mother, what the President said is, now I recognize you really are a mother. So it was truly amazing. I really felt that President Macky Sall is an amazing person. He recognizes Mother. But when Mother met Prime Minister Hun Sen, and there were about 50 heads of states from around the world, and Mother spoke. Prime Minister Hun Sen said, thank you for coming. But Mother said, once again, for 30 minutes, she spoke about the truth of providential history. The summit was meant to start at 10 a.m., but it was delayed by 15 minutes. But Prime Minister Hun Sen responded so beautifully. He said, Dr. Moon, Mother Moon, after hearing your words, I feel that the Cambodia summit will be a great victory. This was Prime Minister Hun Sen's response. So at that time, I really felt that Mother really is incredible. But those who also speak, they really are the fertile land that is mentioned in the Bible. And through these heads of states, we can see that really incredible harvests are possible. Prime Minister Hun Sen came all the way to Korea, and Cardinal Felix, despite opposition from other people, he spoke at the WCLC Rally of Hope. He spoke at the Rally of Hope. He really understands the mission of True Mother. The new wine must be poured into new wineskins. This is something that we need to profoundly reflect on. Until now, we have received a new truth from True Parents. We have always thought that we knew the new truth, but is True Parents' providence stand still? Is it the same as 70 years ago? True Parents' providence continues to advance, and every day Mother gives us new words of truth. We need to accept the new truth and pour it into new wineskin. That is why Mother said she stands at the crossroads where the providence of heaven can no longer be postponed. And that is why in this new era of the providence, we need to change into new clothes. Beloved leaders from around Korea, blessed families from around Korea, this year is really a year of victory because we are marching towards 2027. And now is the time when we need to wear new clothes, when we need to pour new wine into new wine skins. I hope we can take this time to reflect on ourselves. Have we ever judged Mother through our limited understanding? Have we ever fully understood Mother's intention? Or have we judged and tried to understand Mother through our limited human understanding? May this time be a time of resolve. There is a moving story I want to share. It is from France. There was a Charles Blondin, and he was a really famous acrobat, and he put a really famous, he put an advertisement in the New York Times, and he said that he will walk across the Niagara Falls. You all know the Niagara Falls, right? It is more than 330 meters wide, and it has the height of really 16 10-story buildings. And who thought that someone could walk on the line across the Niagara Falls? But since he made an advertisement, people all gathered to watch it. And Charles Blondin said the following: "How many among you think that I can walk across the Niagara Falls?" And since they applauded for him, and Charles Blondin, he crossed the Niagara Falls, and he walked on this line as an acrobat, and then he shouted once again, "Among you, how many of you think that I can walk across this line with a unicycle with my eyes folded across the Niagara Falls?" And the audience applauded, and they believed he could cross, and he crossed the Niagara Falls. And then after crossing, he asked again, "Among one of you, can I really carry one person on my back and cross the Niagara Falls?" And everyone, because they saw two miracles, they said, "I believe." They really responded. But then after that, Charles Blondin said, "So who wants to come on my back?" No one responded. No one volunteered. Everyone was silent. And at that time, Henry Colford, his friend, came forth, and he said he got on Charles Blondin's back, and they crossed the Niagara Falls, and his friend was on his back, and he crossed the back, and Henry Colford became the first person to cross the Niagara Falls on someone's back. So believing in words and believing in action are different. But what is more moving is that you can see it on the screen, that Henry Colford said to this friend, "My friend, when you go on the line, do not look down, just look up, and when you are on the line, do not think that you're separate from me. Think that you are always one with me. Do not try to adjust yourself. Just let go of yourself and unite with me." And they all marched and crossed the Niagara Falls. And that is why Mother said, "Until 2027, let us march forward together." Mother is carrying us on her back, and Mother is walking with us. We need to think of Mother as the Mother, that I am a representative of Mother, that I am conveying Mother's heart, that I am conveying Mother's love. We should not look left or right. We should carry Mother's love with us and march forward. Do you agree? Do you agree? If you agree, let us give a warm round of applause to our beloved true Mother, and let us unite as one and bring a great victory.
이러한 새로운 그런 마음을 중심으로
Therefore, centering on this new heart, I would like to share with you the strategy until 2027. Mother, on January 13, 2013, she mentioned that we proclaimed the opening of Cheonilguk following Father's ascension. Mother made a pledge before the body of a Father that before she ascends to the spirit world, she will firmly establish Cheonilguk. And this has been the path that Mother has been walking. And Mother was in a position where she was alone in the universe. But Mother said, in order to embrace the world, in order to bring about a great victory, from east to west, from north to south, Mother has been moving and investing herself from 2013 till 2019 until the completion of the 40-day Cosmic Canaan course. This 7-year course has been victorious. And that is why in 2020, on January 13, Mother proclaimed the firm establishment of Cheonilguk, the cosmic nation of peace and unity. And then after that, Mother launched the second 7-year course until 2027. And Mother mentioned that until 2022, that Korea should establish the foundation, the condition for national restoration in Korea by realizing the heavenly unified Korea. From 2013, through the heavenly tribe, heavenly nation, heavenly continent, and heavenly world, the next course until 2027 will be the realization of a heavenly unified Korea and a heavenly unified world. And therefore, without the unification of Korea, a unified world cannot be realized. That is why by 2027, Mother wants to actually restore 1/3 of the world, so that she can proclaim the opening of the heavenly cosmos in 2027. And in the Cheonil Seongjeon, Cheonil Holy Ground, Mother wants to celebrate the realization of the heavenly unified cosmos. And by realizing the heavenly unified Korea and heavenly unified world, the heavenly unified cosmos can be proclaimed. And one thing that is incredible is that Mother, before she proclaimed the opening of Cheonilguk, on the January 7, Mother proclaimed Heavenly Parent. Mother proclaimed that God is the Heavenly Parent. That was the first proclamation. However, at that time, I'm sure you will remember that when we proclaimed Heavenly Parent, it is God. Why is it the Heavenly Parent? In our hearts, we did not maybe completely understand. And on the foundation of the victory of the 7-year course, the firm establishment of Cheonilguk was established, and the national restoration and the continental restoration symbolized the firm establishment of Heavenly Parent at the national and continental levels. And that is why on January 13, Mother could proclaim Heavenly Parent's holy community. In other words, the realization of God's wish is not one family under God. It is because one family under God means God, one family under God, but not God as the Lord, not God as the Father, not God as the Mother, but the wish of true Mother is the realization of one cosmic family of humanity under the Heavenly Parent. And that is why on January 13, after the proclamation of Mother proclaimed Heavenly Parent's holy community, and she gave us the blessing of becoming Cheonbo families. And the next step will be the proclamation of Heavenly Parent at the cosmic level. So we have to restore the world, and then we can proclaim the cosmic Heavenly Parent. And that is why it is the cosmic family of humanity under the Heavenly Parent. And in the Divine Principle, it is written also that the Messiah, the true parent, the Messiah comes to lay the foundation from the individual all the way to the cosmos. And that is why Mother has established this perfect 7-year course. This is what Mother mentioned on January 7 when she proclaimed Heavenly Parent, that God's wish is to realize the ideal of God the Father, God the Mother, and really stand as the Heavenly Parent. And on May 8, I shared this with you, but in 1952, Father wrote in the Wonli Wonbon that heavenly parent is important. That when father and mother come together, heavenly parent are the true parents of humanity. If there are parents in heaven, there should be parents on earth. And therefore, once all of the people around the world must attend heavenly parent and must become eternal parents. And this is the final event that Father hosted before his ascension, the launch of the Abel Women UN. And until now, we have believed in religions where only the father was emphasized without the mother. This is something to be ashamed of. In order to have the heavenly parent, we need to have God the Father, God the Mother, God as the parents. And in order to firmly establish God as the heavenly parent, the providence of God centering on from the Old Testament, the New Testament, the completed Testament, and the Chanilguk era were established. So in the past we had God as the Lord, God as the Father, God as the parent, and now we are Heavenly Parents, Holy Community. That is why Heavenly Parents Holy Community has been launched. And now in this era of Chanilguk, we are now in an era where, centering on Heavenly Parent, all of humanity should come under Heavenly Parent's bosom. Even Father in the spirit world is still alive, is still working, and that is why it is the nation of cosmic peace and unity. Chanju means heaven and earth. And at this special time, this is a time when Heavenly Parent must be firmly established on this earth to all the people. And that is why God became the Heavenly Parent. We have the Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, the only begotten Son and only begotten daughter. Following Father's ascension, we have the countless rallies, and we emphasize the only begotten daughter. But many people doubted Mother. Why is Mother emphasizing the only begotten daughter? Many people doubted Mother. And please, let's look back. And through the only begotten daughter, Mother mentioned that it is not just God the Father, but also God the Mother. I'm sure you will all remember during the WCLC rally, Mother spoke about John Calvin, and we always think about Martin Luther, and we think of the 400-year period from Martin Luther until the outbreak of the World War as the 400-year course for the preparation of the advent of the Second Coming. But it is also important to understand John Calvin, because what's more important is that there is a special proclamation by John Calvin that was written in the 15th century, and therefore this laid the foundation for the advent of the only begotten daughter. But why is Mother focusing on the year 1540? Because in Christology there is a passage about the church, the Mother Church. And regarding the year 1540, there is also the Cairo Declaration. And this 400-year period is also a period for the preparation of the advent of the only begotten daughter. And this 400-year period is not just for the only begotten Son. There is also a period for the advent of the only begotten daughter. And it is not just 400 years. Already from 6,000 years ago, Mother proclaimed what is the purpose of the advent of God, of the only begotten daughter. It is to bring about the perfection of God's providence of restoration. And Mother spoke about the holy temple that is being prepared for dedication next year. And I'm sure you remember that the only begotten daughter was born in 1943, and 100 years before Mother's birth, Mother came, Christianity came to Korea 100 years before Mother's birth, and or officially Christianity came in Korea in 1885. If you check online, you can check. But That is American Christianity, but already from 3 years ago, Mother asked us to research, and we can see this in documents. But for example, in 1843, there was the war between Britain and China, and there was the Nanjing Treaty. And in 1843, there was a treaty, and this treaty mentioned that Christianity must be accepted by China. And that is why what we need to focus here is that in Korea, we have Eastern philosophy, but also Western philosophy. Who was the first pastor? Kim Dae-gun. In 1840, he moved from Hong Kong to Korea, and together in 1845 with a French missionary, they came to Korea. Already 100 years ago, Christianity came to Korea. So, Mother mentioned that the only begotten son and only begotten daughter. So, 100 years before Mother's birth, Christianity came into Korea. There was a foundation for the advent of Mother in Korea. And that is why Mother is speaking about Cheonilguk, the national religion of Cheonilguk is the Holy Community, Heavenly Parents Holy Community, and for whose sake? For the sake of Heavenly Parent. So centering on this vision, we are marching in the 7-year course so that until 2027, we can realize the ideal of one family, one cosmic family of humanity under the Heavenly Parent. Looking back, as I mentioned, there were 3 major miracles. The first one is the centenary of True Parents' birth and the 60th Holy Wedding Anniversary. You remember this, you can see His Excellency Hun Sen and Prime Minister Ban Ki-moon, His Excellency Refni, the Vice President of Philippines, and Father and Mother always mentioned that the Messiah should be born at the national level. And following Father's ascension, Mother said that Father's ascension should have taken place at the national level. That is why Mother said she needs to restore the nation, and that is why the World Summit 2020 took place at the global level. Look at the Cheonilguk flag. We sang the Cheonilguk anthem. And I cannot forget this, the celebration of True Parents' birth with heads of states from around the world, and the celebration of Father's centenary and Mother's 77th birthday. Mother said that more than my birthday, Mother wanted to celebrate and remember Father's centenary. I am truly grateful to True Mother. And how many events took place? There were more than 40, more than 120 current and former heads of state, more than 120 current and former speakers, more than 500 parliamentarians all came to Korea at the time when COVID-19 was beginning to spread to celebrate the historic 2020. And on that foundation, on May 8, Mother mentioned that we need to restore 1/3 of humanity. I do not know whether I'll be alive on this earth for 10 years or 20 years, but before I ascend, 1/3 of humanity must know and attend Heavenly Parent. And that is why True Mother proclaimed Heavenly Parent's Holy Community. And there is also Family Federation, which is the religion of Heavenly Parents Holy Community, and Heavenly Parents UN, which is UPF. And also Mother mentioned that we need to realize the heavenly unified Korea. And that is why until 2022 February, we need to realize the restoration of the heavenly unified Korea. And Mother invested her Cheongsong, and through the leaders and the members throughout Korea, until the end of 2020, we were able to offer a great victory to True Parents. And because we need to restore 1/3 of the world, we began the rallies of hope. But really began over 6 months this platform of a peace link. No other organization has been hosting these rallies of hope the way we have. Please take pride. Mother has really been leading us at a time of despair. And the more we host rallies of hope, the greater the level of the VIPs and speakers we have. And this rally of hope will take place 6 times in Korea for the firm realization of a heavenly unified Korea. This is a time when Mother's entire focus is on Korea. Look, from April, in 60,000 locations, more than 300 online ILCs took place. And on that foundation, 4 rallies of hope took place. You all remember? So these heads of state are truly amazing. Hun Sen, Macky Sall, Ban Ki-moon, Stephen Harper, Paula White. This was really amazing. This is the second rally of hope. Even when I look now, my heart is moved. Look, more than 260 million people were touched. The third rally of hope really was focusing on the heavenly unified Korea. This was to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the outbreak of the Korean War. I'm sure you will all remember. One thing that is really moving is that this is the president of South Sudan, and North and South Sudan were engaged in a civil war, and this is the Pope. And the Pope called these leaders and kissed their feet and asked them to unite as one. But the process took longer. This was really, but Mother really played an important role in the peace process in Sudan. We don't have a church in South Sudan. UPF does not have a foundation there. Mother made this foundation, and that is why the Zuba Peace Accords took place. And UPF was invited, and the Good Governance Award was given to President Salva Kiir. And this was broadcast live, and it is also the hometown of the Vice President Haj Hamad. We do not do this with just human power alone. When we do 5% of our responsibility, heaven fulfills 95% of its responsibility. More than 300 million people were touched. This was also calculated in cooperation with the Washington Times. This was the 4th Rally of Hope, WCLC. Mother mentioned we need to realize a unified world, because America must be united. That's how we can have a heavenly unified Korea, because America's role is so important in the unification of Korea. And when the Pilgrim Fathers went to the Mayflower Pilgrims, it is already in November 2020, the 400th anniversary of the landing of the Pilgrim Fathers. Mother went to America. This was a time when COVID-19 was so serious in America. Mother said she had to go because she needed to bring hope to America for the sake of Korea. And 10,000 WCLC leaders gathered. There are some things I cannot share with you. If there's time, I will share with you. The highest leader really accepted Mother's message. There was a historic victory, and there were news that we were victorious in the UCI lawsuit. And on that foundation, we had the Cheonbo Festival, and now the blessings of the treasures of heaven, heavenly tribal Messiah victors can now be accepted. And I received the testimonies, but all of the leaders and members around the world, all the Cheonbo families said that they were sorry. Why? What have we done that you give us such a great blessing? And on that day, do you know what Mother said? What a great, this is a time and a day that heaven has waited to finally register Cheonbo families. And this is a time when and at the time of Father's ascension, there was not a single
그날 너무너무 눈물이 많이
I was so moved to tears because
아버지가 한 분
my father went to the spirit world, and
자식이
really
오신다고
I was attending mother, but I came to international headquarters because I was a secretary general.
내가 434일
I thought that I needed to complete 430 families, and my father pledged to bless 800 bless families, and he worked really hard, and we really booked the venue from my mother, and he said that congratulations, for your sake your father has
행사장 예약을
prepared the 430 couples, and I could hear my father's voice. But this was the final message from my father, because he had a seizure, and I heard from the doctor that he couldn't live one single month. And after that, I went to see my father, and I returned and I told mother, I'm really a unfilial son. Mother, my father couldn't do anything for my father, and please grant me 1 month so that I can take care of my father. I want to really take care of my father before he ascends. But mother said, no, you should work with me, not think of your father. Your father is standing. What do you think he would want? Your father wants you to support me, not be by his bedside. And mother said, pray for 3 days. What prayer did I need to offer? When I come to Cheonjeonggung at 5 a.m., I will look at Cheonjeonggung, and I will think, if the lights are on, I can see that mother is not asleep. And today also mother was really speaking with father all night without sleeping. So following father's ascension and even the ascension of the true children, mother pledged that she will bring the firm establishment of Cheonilgok on this earth. And mother really invested herself. How can I think about my own father? So if I had one wish, it is really to help father become a Cheonbo victor. And I was really grateful because my father really did his best to become a Cheonbo victor. And after all of the 2020 events, True Mother gave me the permission to visit my father. And after visiting my father went to the spirit world as a Cheonbo family. And what greater blessing is there than to become a Cheonbo families? And as we walk this path of faith, our elder members did not have anything to eat. Some of them would even steal food given to pets to survive. But today, when we look back on this movement, at this time, there were times when our mothers would leave their children in orphanages and go witnessing. And many of them were less than 100 years old. And the mother remembered all of this, and she gave us the great blessing to become Cheonbo families before heaven. Beloved members and leaders, what greater love and blessing can we have from true parents? Let us give another big round of applause to really thank our beloved True Mother.
우리 식구님들 정말 수고 많으셨습니다.
Our members, you really are amazing. And thank you. If you can see, congratulations on becoming Cheonbo families. Congratulations. We are so proud of you. And Mother summarized all of it. And during the victory celebration, Mother mentioned that we now are going to restructure the movement for Heavenly Parents, Holy Community. And 7 regions were restructured into 9 regions, and we're going to restore 1/3 of all the 39 sub-regions around the world.
반드시 이룰
If we
겁니다.
believe, we will accomplish it.
그리고 가장 중요한 것이
And
뭐냐면
what is most important is that we have regional presidents, regional vice presidents, and UPF chairs, and a new structure has been established centering on the first, second, and third generations, and a new structure with the people, the territory, and the citizens is being established. And what's most important is this: right now, for the first time, Mother appointed 5 co-regional presidents in Korea, and Mother really established national headquarters in the 5 sub-regions of Korea. And Mother said that Korea is now a special region, a special continent, that Mother will really restore Korea, and that is why we restructured the national headquarters centering on UPF and Family Federation. And you're all aware of this, of how Korea was restructured. And also we had the Chunsimwon and the Chonbo Training Center, and we were able to have the inauguration of the leaders. And on that foundation, right now the worship service is very old-fashioned. It is really centering on the gospel and on the word. But Mother said that we need to have a new worship service culture that can really embrace all the religions of the world. It must become an umbrella for all the leaders around the world. For example, I am very close to Sheikh Mansour Diouf, and we share many different communications. And what is ironic is that the Muslims, they are not moved by the second advent of the Messiah. But for them, they respect Jesus, but they do not recognize Jesus before Muhammad. But they can accept the only begotten daughter. And if we say that Allah is the heavenly parent, they can accept. Even the Catholic Church, they can all accept that God is the heavenly parent. Therefore, all of the religions can all unite as one, and this is what Mother is doing, centering on international headquarters. And you've all seen how we are changing the worship culture to move the hearts of people. And we've done this several times, and we will expand this. For example, even the worship culture is different from before. At this era of online worship services, Mother can say, today I will attend the worship service of the Changwon Church. She can attend the worship service of any church around the world from now on. So Mother will attend the worship service in Changwon, for example. So how do you think the Changwon Church will prepare, from the singing to the sermon? Everyone will prepare so deeply. So maybe tomorrow could be Tokyo, the next week could be Washington. Mother is already thinking of attending online worship services of different churches around the world. And Mother mentioned that also the most important people around the world in Heavenly Parents Holy Community is the pastor, is the shepherd. And really, this is very important. And today, it is really a charismatic leadership. At the time of the firm establishment, we need to go in the era of the firm establishment of the Heavenly Parents Holy Community. The members need to be happy. That is how we can revive the church. And in order for members to be happy, we need to really educate members on how to become Chonbo families, on how to multiply and realize the 3 great blessings. We need to focus on life of really becoming Chonbo families. That is why the pastors must help the members fulfill the 3 great blessings. And that is why the members must first fulfill the path of the 3 great blessings. And that is why last week we had a special gathering of pastors. And also, Mother mentioned that all the pastors are stars, and their assembly was the assembly banquet of stars. And therefore, for this Chonbo path, let us give a big round of applause to all the pastors who are now engaged in this incredible path of Heavenly Parents Holy Community.
그래서 저희들이 그날
And
이렇게
that is why on that day we shared various model cases from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. All of the pastors around Korea shared model testimonies. And one also important victory has been the UCI lawsuit. And you've already seen Father's special memo from 2009. And for the past 10 years, the UCI lawsuit has continued, and the UCI has made our unification movement very difficult. Every time we heard UCI, for us it was painful. Unification Church International. This was an organization that True Parents had established to support mission activities around the world. But UCI became a name that caused great pain to True Parents. Before Father's ascension, Father issued a proclamation that was not respected by UCI. And from Kodiak in Alaska, you all remember these details. And also, UCI was taken over, the directors were changed, and the name, they changed Unification Church International to UCI, and they also deleted the contents of supporting Unification Church around the world and also of expanding the teachings of the Unification Church. And it's not just in America, in Korea and also in South America. Mother is receiving reports. Amazing progress is taking place. And the UCI has sold so many of our public assets, Atlantic Video, UPI, the Sheraton Hotel, and they took over the Washington Times. But in December 4, 2010, the UCI sold back the Washington Times, and they sold Central City and Park One. When I was at Korea HQ, Mother, True Parents mentioned that this Yoido Holy Ground was bought from members who donated their blood, and one of the members even sent a receipt for the donation that he was able to make after donating blood and receiving $5. So to who does this public asset belong to? It is True Parents' public asset to be used for the providence of Heavenly Parent. That UCI sold these public assets, and this continued for more than 10 years. And some people said, why should we continue this lawsuit? Why should we do this? There was a lot of criticism. I was criticized a lot, but Mother continued, persevered, and on October 30, there was a preliminary ruling. This is the proclamation of True Parents, and this was issued on April 23. There were 4 points. 1, follow absolutely True Parents directives. The UCI directors should step down, and all of the authority should be returned to True Parents, and all of the assets should be returned to True Parents. UCI did not respect this. And after Father's ascension on December 3, there was a new ruling, and the UCI constitution should be restored, that the UCI directors should be changed, and all of the assets should be returned. And this is Father's proclamation that was kept. And we only know this victorious content, but behind this, we are not aware of the blood, sweat, and tears that Mother had to shed. Mother had to go to 3 depositions and 3 painful instances. When you saw the deposition videos, we wondered, did Mother have to walk such a painful path? And we received so much criticism. Why is Mother being deposed? But Mother was firm. Mother was determined. I couldn't share this before in the past, but for the sake of father, not just retrieving the public assets, but the UCI side, they even really mentioned that father was not healthy. They questioned father's mental ability, but mother defended father. And this was in December 2019. This was a time when mother's heart was about to burst after being deposed. Mother had no strength, and after finishing her deposition, she was going back from Washington D.C. to East Garden, and she had nowhere to eat lunch. And we found a old hamburger restaurant that was not really clean. And the hamburger was not even warm. She was eating the cold hamburger, and mother ate this hamburger in silence. And after that, she went all the way from Washington D.C. to East Garden, and for 5 hours in the car she did not say a single word. And personally, I received so much criticism, and I also felt in my heart that I needed to resign, because when I saw mother being so miserable from the unspeakable attacks she received during the deposition, I wonder, why does mother have to endure such pain? And I really felt at that time that I need to attend mother and support mother. And I asked mother, following father's ascension, why are you walking such a difficult path? And you can also compromise, or you can live a much more comfortable life. Why do you take such a painful path? And why are you walking such a difficult path? And this is what mother said: because I am the mother, because I'm the mother to humanity. So you understand, you remember the theme of the musical, because I'm the mother. It is because mother is the mother of humanity that she is enduring along this painful path. It is because mother is the mother of humanity that she wishes to uphold father's wish, whether it rained or snowed, whether it was bright or cold. Mother would always go and offer devotion at father's tomb. But mother never criticized UCI. Mother always waited for the day when we could repent. There's a song that mother likes, and mother gave me a CD, and it's a song that says "We Are Together" by Kim Ho-jung, and there's a song that says "Thank You," but there's also the title. There's a song that says Our Mother, and when mother gave me the CD, I thought there must be a reason why, and I heard this CD, and I would like to, you can really feel the heart of mother in this CD. There's not enough time, but I really hope that we can hear this song together with the heart of Hyo-jung. I really want to offer this song briefly to our beloved mother.
비가 오면 우산 들고 마중 나와 주시고 눈이 오면 넘어질까 걱정을 하시네 사랑으로 안아주고 기죽을까 감사며 아버님의 빈자리를 세워주신 어머니 아빠 얼굴 그리려다 너무 생각이 안 나 동그라미 하나만을 그려놓고 잠든 밤 나도 아버님이 보고 싶다면 가슴 잡고 몰래 우시던 사랑해요 우리 어머니 아빠 얼굴 그리려다 너무 생각이 안 나 동그라미 하나만을 그려놓고 잠든 밤 나도 아버님이 보고 싶다면 가슴 잡고 몰래 우시던 사랑해요 우리 어머니 사랑해요 우리 어머니 사랑합니다.
Thank you, we love you. Mother, we love you.
사랑합니다.
Mother, we really love you. We truly, truly love you.
사랑합니다. 어머님이 계시게
Because Mother is here, we are filled with hope, 아주.
이제 우리
And now we are marching towards 2027, filled with hope. And let us continue hearing Mother's strategies until 2027. So from 20 until 2027 is the strategy for the firm realization of a heavenly unified Korea and heavenly unified world. Until 2022, we will realize the heavenly unified Korea, and until 2027, we'll march towards the heavenly unified world. And to realize a heavenly unified world, we need a heavenly unified Korea. The two are really intimately connected. Let us take a look at a short video and then we'll continue. The 5,000-year history of Korea. And Korea's history has been intimately linked with the major powers surrounding it. This was a period of Japanese occupation. Korea was liberated in 1945. The Korean government was established in 1948. And at the same time, the DPRK was also established. And the division, the Korean War, erupted. The representative, Korea was omitted from the ceasefire, from the armistice signed with the DPRK. At the time of great confusion in Korea's history, at the time when the conservatives and the liberal movements were at odds with each other, there has been great division also with regards to policy on North Korea. Around the world, more than 109 conflicts have erupted related to natural resources and territory. The Cold War continued until the 1990s. And the joint office, liaison office between North and South Korea was bombed on June 16, 2020.
요란한 복음과 함께 사막에 파괴됐습니다.
What do we need at this time when the world is filled with division and discord?
영상에서도 보셨겠지만
As you saw in the video, the liaison office between North and South was exploded, and you can see that unification cannot be accomplished just with human efforts alone. That is why Mother speaks of the heavenly unified Korea. Unification can only happen centering on God. In Korea also you can see the division between liberals and conservatives. And it is not centering on DPRK but centering on Korea. But as you saw on the video, 100 years ago, at the time when Korea was under Japanese occupation, it was not just a problem between Korea and Japan. It was really an issue between the UK and the Soviet Union. And that is why Korea really was in many ways a weak nation, really at the mercy of superpowers, and this is important in our understanding of Korea's role in world affairs. We need to have the unified world to realize a unified Korea, and the heavenly unified Korea is important for the heavenly unified world. Right now there are many wars and conflicts around the world, and these are issues of values, and also you can see that there was a Cold War between the US and Russia, and also there was also a problem between the UK and Japan. And also there was the Cairo meeting, and even when Korea was liberated, this is very important. In 1945, when Korea was liberated already from China through the diplomatic channels, they knew from Kim Gu, and also there was also there were many various groups, but at that time Korea was not unified. And will Korea become a communist nation? Will Korea become a democratic nation? This was not clear when Korea was liberated. And already Japan was meant to be divided between the four superpowers. But Japan discussed that if Russia were to invade Japan, it is better that it invades Korea. But Korea was not united, and we were filled with various problems of values, and that's when the Korean War erupted, and it has continued to this day. And also after the explosion or the bombing of the liaison office, there's been a lot of values, conflicts in terms of values, in terms of superpowers. And also right now, the conflict between Russia, China and America is very strong, and you can see that the Chinese army has been restructured into north, south, east, west, and center, because the US saw a scenario where China could be divided into 5 or 4 areas, where you have the Uyghurs, there's also the Indo-Pakistan region, and also you have Taiwan. And what is the north? The north is the Korean Peninsula. And if we look at the Korean Peninsula just in terms of north and south, we cannot understand fully. That is why in the north there is a military unit, and the sons of the generals have the name Koryo Baekje and Shilla. So regarding the unification of Korea, we need to have an understanding of international relations. The unified Korea is not just focused on the heavenly unified Korea, but it is also related to the superpowers around Korea. So the 21st century is also a platform, a war of platforms. Who will own the platform of the future? And that is why President Moon Jae-in announced the Korean New Deal. And until 2025, they want to realize a new digital platform. And until 2025 will be the time when the entire world will switch to a completely digital platform. Let's look at this video.
Boosters, deeper.
And when you look at this video, you may be wondering, what is this about? And what you saw, this is Elon Musk's SpaceX, and they launched Falcon 9. And what's different from the past? In the past, astronomical sums of money had to be invested to send rockets, and they could not be reused. But you can see the rocket can actually be reused. So $1 billion rockets can now be launched for $200 to $300 million. And that is why many satellites can be launched into orbit. And what is SpaceX working on? Until 2025, they want to launch more than 25,000 satellites to completely provide internet to the world. And they want to send at 85 kilometers above the Earth. they want to put satellites around the world. So even in the Himalayas, through these satellites, you can have internet. And right now, we can do this online communication through internet, and they've already prepared Starlink, and by 2025 it will be fully launched. So right now we do not even need military units. The Space Force was launched in America, and they're already thinking about space as the next frontier. And there's the 6th Army, the Space Force, and right now above 85 kilometers above the Earth, you can really see that military forces are no longer limited to geographical locations. And because of this digital revolution, we are moving into digital currencies. And now thanks to through Nixon, who took the world off the gold standard, until now we had the US dollars as paper currency. But in this new era, new digital currencies will emerge. Already Korea, China, they are making digital currencies. And so we have online banks, online platforms, and already LG is making global citizen passports and digital cards. And so when we have these internet smart platforms that will connect everyone together, and this is really, we have the Bilderberg meeting where you have this gathering of the most influential people around the world. So what this shows is that the world is being connected more and more, but there is no heavenly parent. That is why Mother wants the change of platform. So Starlink really revolutionized the project of launching satellites, but we can bring God through these platforms. So what should we do to bring to the world that is becoming interconnected, Heavenly Parent, to bring about the heavenly unified world? And that is why we launched this internal platform through PeaceLink. In 2025, the world is changing, so we need to change the platform. Wasn't it a great victory? And even now it's live. We're the only ones to launch this Rally of Hope series. And therefore, in this world that is interconnected, we need to bring God to realize a heavenly, unified world. And at this time, when Korea is struggling in terms of the division of all the issues of the world, we can really bring about the heavenly unified Korea. There's a book that is Linchpin Korea. Korea really is the focal point of international affairs. Jim Rogers also shared this content, and that is why from last year we had various gatherings. And we're not just doing a cultural movement, but also a thought movement. And that is why we established a theory on the heavenly unified Korea. Because in 2022, we have a clear goal. There will be presidential elections and local elections. But by those who are 16 today, by 2022, they will be able to vote. Therefore, in our analysis, we need to have at least a foundation of 1,800,000 to 1 million people to influence the direction of this nation. What are we going to influence the future of this nation? Not just as a movement, but centering on the policy of true parents, the words of true parents, the policies of true parents. Mother will be the 30th anniversary of True Parents meeting with Kim Il-sung. And in November, we will have the Hanbando, the Korean Peninsula Peace Summit. And in 2023 February, we have rented all of the major stadium in Korea, and we will have a 1 million rally of hope, and we will also have 700,000 attend online and 300,000 come to these events. So what is the purpose when people say unification, reunification of the Korean Peninsula? everyone
2020년부터
should
2022년까지
recognize that it is true mother, that mother is not just the mother of peace, that she's the mother of unification, that we will relay the foundation for the heavenly unified Korea until February 2022. We can do it when all the leaders around the world support this providence. And on this foundation, until 2022, from January until February, we will walk this 14-month course. And what is most important is that our youth, as I mentioned, our Seonghwa students, by 2022 they will have the right to vote. Right now they are not interested in unification. Our cherished hopes are unity. Even in our dreams we speak of unity. We need to educate them. And who can educate them? Who can educate the youth? It is the youth. The youth must educate the youth. It is not people like me already who are in my 40s, mid-40s. And mother said, will you help me? Our youth said, I will support mother. I will support the providence. That is why YSP is focused on witnessing 100,000 people. And as I mentioned to you, Think Tank 2022 will be launched in February. And centering on the true parents, policies will be established. And these are truly incredible VIPs who will come as part of the Think Tank 2022. And there will be 5 rallies of hope. And there will be the Peace Summit, the Summit of Peace for the peace on the Korean Peninsula. And then in February, we will have a grand summit for the restoration of the homeland. So regarding YSP, our true parents have really been supporting the youth. And in order to, until receiving the blessing, you have accomplished perfection of character. And after, when second and third generations keep their purity until the blessing, they have completed their character. And these days people don't marry. That is why YSP will focus on raising leaders for the future, and the Family Federation will connect till the blessing, and then from Family Federation they will be educated to become Chombo families, and then another side will be to really testify and follow Heavenly Parent and become global leaders. If it is not difficult to testify about Heavenly Parent to 1/3 of the people around the world, what is really difficult, it is to know and testify about true parents. Receiving the blessing is the challenge. That is why UPF will become young leaders for the future. That is why we have the school for true couples, for the true father, for the true mother, and I'm the chair of the Hyojeong Cultural Center. And until now, all of the contents they've been preparing all of this, and we are going to continue this through the True Family Academy. And for example, my daughter is 7 years old. And if I want to witness to my 7-year-old daughter, do you think that I need to teach my daughter from the divine principle all the way to the second advent? It is very difficult. So therefore, we need to tailor our message to the different age group. And Samsung, for example, invested $60 million in the university, but they said they failed in raising leaders because already university students already have their own mindset. So they went all the way down to high school. But how about us? How about us? We need to educate from the moment people are in the womb all the way until they become leaders. We need to develop this cultural agenda. And from 2016, I was appointed as the chair of the Hyojeong Cultural Center, and we prepared this cycle. Already from the moment you're pregnant, you have the True Father, True Mother school. From the moment you're young, we have all these Hyojeong families family cafe, kids cafe. We have the Sunmun UPA, Sonak UPA, and I want to show you one thing. So my daughter, when I saw my daughter, when she looks at YouTube, she would watch YouTube for 5-6 hours, but we don't have any of our contents, and there's no Hyojong content online. Most of it is secular, so we need to make that content. That from 3 years ago we began to make the mother's biography into these books, into these cartoons for young children. These are children's books, and based on these books, all of these contents have also been summarized into songs, children's songs, and we made a sound book. And if you make this sound book, in each chapter, if you press a button, there is also a storytelling. There is a person who reads. So we've made these things. Not just that, we've made also animations, media contents, and we have created these cultural contents based on Hyojong, so that we can really witness to people, and that's why we made the characters. And you all know about Pororo. Even my son is 2 years old. He knows Pororo already. We made characters, animation characters: Hyojong, Hyoi, Hyoji, Yo, Hyong. So, and Hyoji symbolizes also Hyojinim, and Hyomong symbolizes the dreams of Hyojong. So we have really various cartoons and songs. And yesterday you saw Melon. Melon is a music site, and if you type Hyojong songs, you can see these 10 songs, and if you sing, you can understand the concept of Hyojong. And you also have stories of filial piety like Shincheong. That is why in Africa, Europe, we are combining the story of Hyojong. And we also made a animation that says Hyojong, let us play. We will make animations and videos. These are the characters. We're making these goods, and also let's take a look at one video about the animation.
나는 효정, 나는 효지, 나는 효리, 나는 효몽. 효정아 놀자. 사랑스런 삼남매들 효몽이와 여행을. 오늘은 또 어떤 모험이 기다릴까요? 따뜻한 마음 효정이, 똑똑박사 효지, 엉뚱발랄 사랑스런 막내 요리 삼남매. 오늘은 또 어떤 나라 어떤 친구를 만날까? 효몽이야 가르쳐줘 몰랐던 이야기들. 효정이와 인사해요. 안녕 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 안녕. 효주와 함께 모험을 야호 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 야호. 요리와 함께 춤춰요. 랄랄랄랄랄랄라. 효몽과 신나는 마법 호이 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 호이. 사랑스런 삼남매들 효몽이와 여행을. 오늘은 또 어떤 모험이 기다릴까요? 예!
좋으시죠? 박수
Isn't
한번
it
주시죠.
great? Let's give a big round of applause.
이 모든 내용을
So all of this content comes from Mother. Mother prepared all of this content for second and third generations. And the team who makes these animation are second generations. And they really want to make it successful. Our second gens have begun to mobilize themselves. So we are creating all of these media contents, and we are going to make a multi-purpose witnessing center. but it is not. So we are really creating new cultural centers for witnessing, and we want to connect this to the churches with the youth and students. So all of this content, these animation, education, animation, all of that, we are going to combine multi-channel networks to have a multi-purpose witnessing center, cultural centers. These are HJ family cafes, and already in Hanam we're preparing it. It will open in January of this year, and we will put all of these content together. It is more than 200 pyeongs, or about 800 square feet, and Reverend Chu Jin-tae will be very happy because we're opening first in the first sub-region, and all of that will be opened in all the 5 sub-regions of Korea. And YSP will lead the HJ Family Cafe, and we are going to educate the youth and contribute to the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. We're also preparing a movie about the little angels. You might be able to watch a movie about the little angels. So on this cultural agenda, we are preparing for the heavenly unified Korea. And 12,000 Korean second gens are distant from the church, and that is why Mother said the youth must witness to the youth. And we've already begun the dream camp. Because we had of COVID-19, we had some delays, but we'll continue. And the second gen said we will witness back the 12,000 second gens who are distant from the church. And they look really happy. And in February of this year, we will have the 2021 Youth and Students Rally of Hope, and they will bring 100,000 people. Do you know where this is? This is the old headquarters church. And True Parents said that the youth must lead the charge, and the mother said she wants to build a YSP headquarters here. And by 2022, we will build this headquarters church centering on this multi-purpose cultural center. We really want to have the youth witness to the youth. And all of this will be connected to the heavenly unified Korea. And in 2023, in the capital of Cheonilguk, Cheonjeongwon and Cheonpobwon will be launched. Look at the master plan. One person said they came to the Cheonwon complex and they couldn't recognize anything because Sunsuwon, the Hanwon Korean House, Cheonbowon Azalea Villas, Heaven G Burger, the Hyojeong Cultural Center, Magnolia, Cheonseungjeon, and this will have the Arboretum. This is Heavenly Parents Arboretum, and the international village that will be completed by 2023. And have HJ Hotel will also be built next to the World Center in 2023. And also the headquarters for all the youth and babies, we will have the family Park Plus One right now, where we have the parking lot of the training center. For second and third generations, mothers prepared all of this. And from 2024 until 2026, mission, the peace and youth strategies will all converge together, centering on these 3 areas, so that among the 39 subregions around the world, we will restore national, continental summits and blessings. So already in May of 2022 will begin in West Africa, and after all of that we are going to bring church growth. All of this must be tied to church growth. The foundation of any of our movement should be church growth, and our members must be happy. That is the time for the firm establishment of Cheonilguk. And therefore, all of this content will be summarized in 2027 during the 60th anniversary of Heavenly Parents Day, when 1/3 of humanity has been restored. And on the foundation of that victory, we will be able to celebrate one cosmic family of humanity under the heavenly parent. And for this one event, in attendance to our true parents in Cheonwon-gung, in the Cheonil Seongjeon Holy Temple, we will celebrate the 60th anniversary of Heavenly Parents Day. And in 2027, we'll have also the Grand World Summit. Beloved leaders from around Korea, beloved blessed families, through the blood, sweat, and tears of our true parents, a new truth, a new wine has been proclaimed. It is now time to pour the new wine into new wineskins. And centering on the Heavenly Parents' holy community, we are going to be victorious in the second 7-year course for the firm establishment of the Heavenly Unified World. And we will also, from this year, begin marching forward and make a firm resolve to realize the Heavenly Unified Korea. We are filled with hope because Mother is with us. We can do it because Mother is with us. We can be victorious because Heavenly Parent and the true parents are together with us. And we can be victorious because Heavenly Parent and True Father are working together with True Mother, and True Mother is working together with us. Do you agree?
아주
아주,
아주
아주,
아주
아주.
동의하고 결의하신다면 다시 한번 우리의 결의와 결단을
Let us put our hearts together and offer a warm round of applause, the only begotten daughter, True Mother. Let us all offer another round of applause to our beloved True Mother.